All right, guys, good evening. It is Sunday night, and that means it's Sunday night service. And as soon as you guys get logged on here, I want you to hit your heart buttons, hit your like buttons, tell me where you're from, post up any questions you might have tonight about Alzheimer's disease. We're going to talk about statistics, but to start off with, we're going to talk about part two of what I did 2 weeks ago, which was talking about caring for a toxic parent that really never cared for you. And I'm reading a book about when death brings relief, and we're going to talk about it because I'm not the only person that has gone through this. And that's a fact. And I know this because I got hundreds, hundreds of messages from you all, hundreds of messages from you all, and comments talking about you went through the very same situation that I went through, or you're going through the same situation. You had a mother, and most of this was talking about mothers. You had a mother that was very difficult, very degrading, very narcissistic, maybe very humiliating, and death brought relief. And there's guilt in that. Oftentimes, there's guilt when the death of a loved one, and it doesn't have to be your mother, it could be a father. You know what? It could be a spouse, could be a sibling. When death brings relief, it's quite interesting. So give me your comments, give me your tell me where you're from, all that. Share this with your tribe. This is the book that my grief counselor had me order, and I just got it. It took forever to come in. Liberating Losses When Death Brings Relief. You can take a picture of this if you want and order it. It is excellent. Jennifer Ellison and Chris McGonigal. It is excellent. And so as I was talking to my grief counselor this week, because I had counseling, we were talking, and he said, well, did anything come up this week? I said, well, not really. Not really. He had watched my Sunday night service here. But I said, I went this afternoon and I closed out. I got permission from the judge to close out the checking account, what was left in it of the checking account. And so I closed it out and I had this check in my purse. And it was interesting because it wasn't a trigger. It wasn't a trigger at all, but it was a closure. It was a final closure. It was finality. Okay. That was the end of that at the bank. I won't ever have to deal with that again. I won't ever have to report what I'm spending to the judge, because I was my mom's conservator. So it was an interesting and I just observed it. I observed it and I was like, okay, that's done. The CDs are done. The IRA, those things are done. It's over. I mean, the only thing that's left to do for me is to order the headstone. And I haven't quite decided exactly what I want on that. And so that's that. So it wasn't a trigger. He said, well, Danny, you'll find that there will be triggers that will trigger you. Well, I haven't found that yet. I have found observations and I've seen, as I was cleaning out some of the house this weekend, I was in Kentucky this weekend. I wasn't triggered over anything. I was looking at pictures of mom and I was looking at her with friends and all. Wasn't a trigger though. It was just an observation. So in this book, I want you, okay. This is interesting. He says in this book that oftentimes when we're at a funeral, it's as if this person was Mother Teresa or, Saint whomever, and was Jesus Christ basically. And there are no negative comments about them. And so it says, he says, it's unusual to find a mention of relief when the relationship can be assumed to have been troubled. He says, ask yourself the question, what don't you miss about this person? What don't you miss about this person? What don't you miss about this person? Well, I can tell you right now what I don't miss about my mom. I don't miss being told at every turn that I'm half ass and I'll never amount to anything and I never do anything right and my hair looks horrible and I don't know why you would let your hair go like that. I mean just one negative thing after another. I don't miss any of that. I don't miss that. And that's a big question. Actually, I think I need to post on here. Do you all have any comments at all? Has anybody, I don't see any comments. Somebody say something or say hi. Maybe then I can put a comment up. What don't you miss about the person? Think about that. I think that that is very interesting. And then also he says about death, about the word. There we go. I'm going to type this up. What don't you miss about the dead person? Now, here's where we're going to get into the word dead. Very seldom used. People don't say dead, do they? They don't say death. It's hard to say, they died. I was trying to, sorry, I'm awkward right here for a second. I was trying to get over it. I can't find it where I had it underlined where he talks about we don't say the word death. We don't say dead. And he said that a lot of people have a really hard time saying that because it seems so final. But death is final, isn't it? Oh, here we go. Though our culture seems to have lost its ability to be shocked by four-letter words, dead, death, and died have come to sound increasingly obscene. The wonderfully onomatopoetic word dead, bracketed by those two uncompromising D's, comes from Old English, the language of the English peasant class, no strangers to the brutal unpredictability of death or life. In America today, top heavy with an aging population, it would seem that the word would be embraced as a generation of baby boomers glimpses at the end of the trail. Alas, this honest Anglo-Saxon word is being replaced by all kinds of silly euphemisms. Most people these days say pass away, reminding one of the Noel Coward play in which spirits in dress come and go on cue. Some pass as if life were an extended exam, and then it goes on and on and on. So why do you think we don't use the word? Okay. Kay, I wonder why you have a hard time saying it. I don't. My mom died. My mom is dead. I mean, death is hard. It's going to happen to all of us. So I don't know. My grandmother died. That was sad. My grandmother is dead. She is. But my grief counselor was telling me that a lot of people in grief counseling, they can't say it. They cannot say it. They will say, he passed away or he passed or he's gone, and so I find that really interesting. So all that being said, I've been working through all of this. I'm reading this book. Maybe y'all want to take a picture of this. Also ordered this, No Place Like Home, Coping with the Decline and Death of Toxic Parents. Toxic could also be wounding, absent, narcissistic, or traumatic parents, not patients. This is a memoir by Nick Nolan, who apparently is a gay man, and his father was very, very narcissistic. No Place Like Home, Coping with the Decline and Death of Toxic Parents, and Liberating Losses When Death Brings Relief. And there's no shame in admitting that the death of your loved one has brought relief. There's no shame at all. And so I just want you all to know that. So I'm working through all of that. I'm in my grief counseling, all of those things. I'm doing all the proper steps. But if you are interested in watching the first part of this, this went into the whole thing about why my mom, I feel, was so mean to me and all of that, and had such great friends. And also that's in part 1, and that's on Facebook and YouTube. But what we're going to get into is the protocol that I used for my mom with Alzheimer's disease. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2018. She denied it. And 2019 is when she went into the assisted living. But I'm going to give you some statistics that I want you all to know here. Yes, Candy, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to share this, and I'm going to share your comment in a minute. Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia among the elderly. It affects 5.1 million Americans. That number is predicted to triple by 2050. It's clinically manifested as a progressive loss of memory and cognitive function, activities of daily living, things like that. Since its discovery in 1906, extensive research has been undertaken to define Alzheimer's disease pathogenesis and develop treatments, which the treatments have been unsuccessful thus far. Alzheimer's is the leading cause of death that is on the rise. Is the only leading cause of death, that is on the rise. It is the most common form of dementia. It's a terminal illness. We have to pull out all the stops. Alzheimer's disease is a disease of progression, people. Disease of progression. We're not born with Alzheimer's disease. Always remember that. We turn on Alzheimer's disease. There is a genetic component, but genetics is not everything, as you're going to find out here. APOE4, the APOE4 gene is the major risk factor genetically. Patients who carry 2 copies of that gene rarely live to 100. 75 million Americans have the APOE4 gene. Tell me this, would you want to know, do you want to know if you have the APOE4 genetic marker for Alzheimer's disease? I did my testing. I do not have the genetics for Alzheimer's. And guess what? Neither does my mom, or did my mom. She did not. She had the protective form, as I do, an APOE2/3. Yeah. Every 66 seconds, someone is diagnosed with dementia. Every 33 seconds by 2050, someone will be diagnosed with dementia. We have approximately 500,000 new cases of Alzheimer's disease this year. 500,000 new cases of diseases a year. 1 in 9 Americans above 65 will have Alzheimer's disease. More than 5 million Americans have it now. We'll have 14 million by the year 2050. They can't build enough memory care units right now. Memory care, assisted livings, and then memory care can't build enough. I mean, literally, they're popping up on every corner out there. From the year 2000 to the year 2013, deaths by Alzheimer's disease increased 71%. 71%. Females have a greater lifetime risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, and they constitute 2/3 of the current Alzheimer's population. However, they don't know why. Do you think you know why? I think I have a good idea why why women have a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. I think a huge piece of it is our hormones. We lose our hormones as we go through menopause, and hormones are protective. Estrogen, we know, is protective of the brain. We know that's also protective of the bones and the skin, and it protects you against cancer and things like that. Our 20-year-olds, our 25-year-olds, our pregnant women all have great estrogen levels in their bodies, and their brains are sharp, and their bones are sharp, and their skin looks good, and all of that. So I think hormones is a big piece of it. Stress, I think that's a big piece of it. I think there's many reasons, actually. So Dr. Dale Bredesen, who is the leader in Alzheimer's research currently, he says that inflammation Suboptimal levels of nutrients and toxic exposure are the key contributors to Alzheimer's disease. Diet, sleep, exercise. Diet, sleep, exercise. You have to eat well, you have to sleep well, you have to move well. It's key. It's simple. It's the piece of the whole wild and well lifestyle, right? Inflammation. Did you know that the average American eats 152 plus pounds of sugar a year, over a half a pound a day? And they now call Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes. Type 3 diabetes. Unbelievable. Okay. All right. Environmental factors. We do know that industrialized countries like us have as much as a 4 times higher, greater risk for Alzheimer's disease. Perhaps it's environmental pollution, possibly, could play a role in the pathogenesis of Alzheimer's. Many Alzheimer's patients have a decreased ability to metabolize xenobiotic compounds, particularly those containing sulfur. They can't get rid of the sulfur compounds. Exposure plus decreased ability to metabolize toxins could equal Alzheimer's disease. We know that aluminum exposure you have a higher risk of Alzheimer's. Do we think maybe aluminum in deodorant? Also think breast cancer there, because this is the number one spot for breast cancer right here, the tail of Spence. So aluminum, pickles, processed cheese, deodorants, cooking utensils, foods that contain sodium aluminum phosphate, Taco Bell soft tacos, Kentucky Fried Chicken biscuits, McDonald's, the salt on the burgers, and the individual salt, all is sodium aluminum phosphate. Okay. You know, if you're going to drink water out of plastic water bottles, drink only Fiji water, because Fiji contains silica, and silica helps pull aluminum out of the brain. It is in a plastic water bottle, but the Fiji water has silica in it naturally from where it comes from. And so it does help pull aluminum out of the brain. So ideally, though, in a perfect world, you drink no water out of plastic water bottles. You only drink it out of glass or stainless steel. So a Mediterranean diet has been associated with a reduction in the risk of Alzheimer's disease. A Mediterranean diet, hands down, the number one diet out there. Hands down. Now, you can eat a carnivore diet. Dr. Ken Berry calls it the proper human diet, and that's what they ate, generations ago. Maybe you can eat a keto, you can eat paleo, you can eat Whole30, you can eat, a million different things. I'm a big believer in a Mediterranean diet and some intermittent fasting. The American Heart Association, American Diabetes Association, all of them recommend a Mediterranean diet. Okay. Nutritional supplements. So this is what Dr. Dale Bredesen, good Lord, he's got probably 28, 30, 27 supplements on here. The average human bear is not going to do that. And my mother refused to do that, but I'm going to show you what I had my mom on. I do believe that it helped her. I think that it helped her, I do believe it helped her live longer than she would have. I think she would have died a lot quicker had she not been on these supplements. B12, low levels found in 23 to 30% of patients with Alzheimer's or probable Alzheimer's disease in several studies. B12, I had her on B12 plus methylfolate. I don't know if you can see that or not because of the lighting. Yeah, right there. That's what I had my mom on, was methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin, methylated forms of B12, so that she could methylate those through her liver. She did have an MTHFR mutation, and so she was not able to process B12 folic acid properly. So I gave her methylfolate and methyl B12 right here. That was an easy one. Magnesium. So what we know about magnesium threonate, there's one magnesium that crosses the blood-brain barrier, and that would be magnesium threonate. That is really hard to see. I don't think y'all are going to be able to see this. It seems to be better back here. Magnesium threonate. I do the powder because you all know I've shown video after video after video of me drinking this in a wine glass at night, and I should have done it tonight. Magnesium threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier, and we have studies that it decreases memory loss by up to 9 years if used consistently, and this was a 12-week study. We also have it in capsules, but basic magnesium threonate right here. It also has a little magnesium lisonate in it here, which is a glycinate chelate as well, 200 milligrams, and then 1 gram of magnesium threonate by itself here. So I had my mom on magnesium threonate. I also had her on regular magnesium. Now, here's the thing. My mom was very ornery about supplements. She believed that they were going to kill you and your liver was going to die. So I had to sneak some of this in. I had to tell her that Dr. Albertson, her doctor, was the one prescribing all of this. And then when I said that, well, guess what? She would automatically do it. So it was just bizarre. But did you know that severe magnesium deficiency is a reversible cause of mild dementia? So if it is the magnesium deficiency causing the mild dementia. Now, that was not causing my mom's dementia or Alzheimer's, but magnesium glycinate chelate malate. Now, my mom also struggled with constipation. So magnesium really helped her. Magnesium threonate, in my experience, has not helped with constipation with patients, but magnesium glycinate will. So I gave her 2 of these at night. Now, I alternated these because then I accidentally gave her diarrhea because I also put her on a probiotic. And so between the probiotic and the magnesium, she was pooping her pants, literally pooping her pants. And she wasn't able to take care of herself. So I felt bad. So I spread it out and it worked. It was better. So magnesium, B12, magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate. These are all clinical studies on this for Alzheimer's disease. CoQ10. Right here, this is one of the best minerals out there, CoQ10. So if you're above the age of 50, everybody needs to be on CoQ10, whether you have dementia, Alzheimer's, or what. Low CoQ10 is also associated with breast cancer, but heart disease. If you're on a statin drug, which lowers your cholesterol, you have got to be on CoQ10. Statins deplete all of your CoQ10 in your body. CoQ10 builds energy in your cells also. So it's part of the building the mitochondria in the cell, but it also helps with memory. Also, patients who have a certain genetic mutation of the amyloid beta protein precursor gene, CoQ10, iron, and B6. Iron and B6. Now, I had her on a B complex because my mom had really low B12. So I did B12 plus a B complex, which has the B6 in it, as well as niacin, folate. I mean, all of it in there, 12, 6, 9, all that, B5. So I had her on a B complex, but it also gives you energy. B12, B vitamins are great for people under stress, for people who have anxiety. My mom had anxiety and depression horribly. She was on Prozac I guess she was on Prozac for over 40 years, I guess. And it worked for her. It worked. So B vitamins, iron. I hope that was a plastic bottle. Iron. My mother had an iron deficiency. That's what landed her in the hospital to begin with. She had a bleed. They couldn't figure out where she lost blood, but she had a horrible iron deficiency. So iron, she needed. But iron is also very important with B6 and CoQ10 for the patients with the amyloid beta protein precursor gene. Not everybody needs iron. So don't just go start iron, right? B vitamins are water soluble. They're most likely are not going to hurt anybody, and they'll give them a little bit of energy. I also had her on fish oil, high dose fish oil. I had my mom on the pro-resolving mediators, which is what I take. And now not everyone can afford this. I guess who paid for them? I did for her. She couldn't afford to buy these. That bottle's $124 for 120 pills. Pro-resolving mediators literally eat. They resolve the inflammatory response in your body. This is the best. I will die taking three things: bioidentical hormones, pro-resolving mediators, and my low-dose naltrexone. So this is a specialized fish oil called resolvins that resolve the cytokine storm in your body. We use this with Alzheimer's patients to decrease inflammation clearly and to eat the inflammatory response. My mom had chronic pain, as many of you know. I don't know that I think it helped her chronic pain. I do know it helped the inflammatory response in her body. Her pain was from vascular disease. We found out literally the last month of her being alive, but and needing double knee replacements and horrible arthritis. So I know this helped. It didn't fix it, but I know that this helped. This for me, forget it. I don't hurt at all. My hands don't hurt. Everything is better with my pro-resolving mediators. And I just checked my omega, my fish oil ratios in my body. Perfection. And this is the only thing I take. I don't take the wild caught omega, which is what most people take. Not everybody takes this. I do think everybody needs to be on pro-resolving mediators, but again, it's $124. It's expensive, $60 a month. But boy, does it work for chronic inflammation. We have studies for memory loss, dementia, weight loss, migraine headaches, anxiety, depression. And I actually have a whole talk on pro-resolving mediators on our YouTube channel. You guys can watch. But a basic wild-caught cold water fish, omega, unbelievable for inflammation that associated with clearly dementia and Alzheimer's disease. I also had my mom on, whoops, I just dropped that, Gko Boba. Now, I don't know if it helped or not, but we do know that Gko Boba, we have studies that shows that, it's more effective than a placebo in patients with Alzheimer's disease. It's cheap. It's $20. I actually take this every day because it also has eleutherococcus in it. And eleutherococcus is an adrenal adaptogen. I'm going to actually put all this up here for you all. It's an adrenal adaptogen that helps with people who are under chronic long-term stress. Well, I was going to post all this up here for you, and it's not letting me. I wrote everything down for you guys to put in the chat. I'll do it whenever we stop this. I'll do it. I can't do it now. I had typed everything out for you. I apologize. But Gko Boba with a little eleutherococcus in it, which is an adaptogen for people under chronic stress. This is fantastic. I've taken it every day for years, and I'll do like a 2-week washout on this and not take it for 2 weeks, and then I'll start it back up again, which is probably not a bad idea on a lot of your supplements, by the way. And then I had my mother on CBD oil. We don't have a ton of research on CBD and Alzheimer's, but here's what we know. Every cell in the body has an endocannabinoid receptor on it. Every cell, the brain, the breast, the vagina, the ovaries, the thyroid, all of it. CBD helps unbelievably for pain, for chronic pain, topically, orally. You can use it vaginally as well, but my mom wasn't using it vaginally. But it is phenomenal for anxiety, for sleep. It was rare that I would get her to take it under the tongue because she was ornery and she would spit it out. But we would put it all over her knees for chronic pain, and it helped beautifully. And her hands, and I would put it on my mom's neck. I don't know if it helped her memory at all, but I know it helped her pain beautifully, along with the pro-resolving mediators. So my triple pain combo, and I did not have my mom on turmeric, but turmeric is shown with Alzheimer's disease. It brings down the inflammatory response in your body. This is my chronic pain protocol right here. Turmeric Gold is great. We also have another turmeric over here that we use. This is pure cumin and black pepper. Okay. It is amazing. These are the same people who make the other, multiple products we'll talk about later. Pro-resolving mediators and CBD. Take a picture of that. That right there is a pain combo like nothing I've ever seen. And it also has indications for memory loss. Alzheimer's or dementia. Okay. And then melatonin. I dropped the melatonin, but melatonin has been shown to be low in Alzheimer's patients. There was a double-blinded trial that showed 2 milligrams of melatonin for 24 weeks increased cognitive performance and sleep efficiency significantly in patients with mild to moderate Alzheimer's, and increased benefits those with insomnia. My mom had horrible insomnia as well. So melatonin helped her, and I had her on that all 4 years. I had her on the B vitamins all 4 years, the magnesium all 4 years, the fish oil all 4 years, the CBD all 4 years. Ginkgo I added in later. The CoQ10 I added in later. I never did start her on AcetoLCarnitine, but AcetoLCarnitine, let me tell you about AcetoLCarnitine. It's a big deal. And hang on a second. Let me tell you about AcetoLCarnitine. It functions as a cholinergic. Oh, good Lord. Cholinergic. Good Lord. Neurotransmitter, and may help decrease the decline in brain mitochondrial function that happens with age. So what we know about AcetoLCarnitine, this is part of my long COVID protocol, because AcetoLCarnitine helps build mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. It helps with energy. This is amazing for people with post-COVID long haulers, fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome. Dr. Kalb used to use this all the time with a lot of his autistic patients. It is fantastic to build mitochondria in the brain. AcetoLCarnitine. I did not have my mom on this, but I took this when I had COVID and it helped. I came off of it, but it helped. Antioxidant for the brain right there. So even if you don't have dementia or Alzheimer's, maybe you need a little AcetoLCarnitine, and it's inexpensive. It's $25, and you take 1 capsule 1 or 2 times daily on an empty stomach. It's phenomenal for energy, by the way. Okay. So that's what I did with my mom. It seems like a lot, but it really wasn't. I mean, she took things morning, some at noon, and some at bedtime. And I had them all in a pill box. Everything was put out for her. Oh, and the other thing we did, the thing I do every day, you all know, the focus patch. This is easy. These are all your B vitamins, but it's also got L-theanine in it, lion's mane for the brain, magnesium malate. It's got a little bit of fish oil in it, some N-acetylcarnitine. So this is a fantastic, inexpensive way right here. You put this patch on them. Very easy. This is easy for kids too. The focus patch. I wear this one, and so does Jackson every day, as you all know. So again, the diet is key. My mom smoked for 60 years. She drank alcohol. She didn't do drugs. I mean, illegal drugs or anything like that. She didn't smoke weed. She didn't do crack or smoke or snort cocaine or any of that. But she drank. She definitely drank. She smoked. She ate Splenda. You could eat Splenda by the ton. My mother would just buy it in the big tubs, those big plastic tubs. She did not exercise, right? She had horrible insomnia. And you can take all these supplements in the world, but if you don't address those chronic lifestyle things, it's not going to help. It's not going to help at all. We tried her on the pharmaceuticals, the Aricept, right? The Namenda, all the things. None of that worked. Stopped it all. Which, I mean, they don't work. I mean, they may be working for your family, but they don't work for the majority of the people at all. Hang on a second. I dropped my sheet here. All right. Okay. There are some labs that you would want to have drawn. And again, apparently I can't put them up here because you can't copy and paste on all this mess that I have done. So I'm going to tell you about the labs right now. You want to have a highly sensitive C-reactive protein drawn. This is a inflammatory marker, cardiovascular inflammatory marker as well. It is C-reactive protein is made in the liver, right? And in response to inflammation, it goes up. You want to have a HSCRP done, a homocysteine level. That's an inflammatory marker. A fasting insulin. Remember, we call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So write these down. Somebody write these down. HSCRP, homocysteine, fasting insulin. Have your thyroid checked, not just a TSH, a free T3 and a free T4, possibly your antibodies, thyroid antibodies, right? Vitamin D3, B12, magnesium, red blood cell. And these are the basics. These are the basics. You could check a CoQ10 and a glutathione level. But when you're dealing with the throes of Alzheimer's, like my mom was, it didn't matter what her glutathione level was. I was going to help raise her glutathione level with supplements and stuff. I mean, you got to think common sense over here. But insulin, C-reactive protein, homocysteine, D3. Oh, I had my mom on D3. I'm sorry, I did not. But D3, we don't have a lot of research on D3 and Alzheimer's, but D3 is something that's a big deal for your immune system. So I did have her on D3. B12, magnesium, fasting insulin, homocysteine, C-reactive protein, check your thyroid. Yeah, if this is early onset and it's just mild cognitive impairment, just a little bit, yeah, you want to check full hormone panel and do your adrenal spit test, looking at your cortisol levels and looking at interleukin 6 and tumor necrosis factor, TNF alpha, right? Yes, but if you're full blown like my mom was, you would just check the basics, okay? Those are labs. You know the supplements. And I will put this on our Facebook. I'll type it back out because I can't do it. Apparently, I can't share everything I've written. Diet, sleep, exercise are the key preventative steps to stop cognitive decline before it starts. Remember, no one is born with Alzheimer's. Mediterranean diet, all the turmeric you can stand, all the turmeric, use it in your food, right? Open this up. So Dr. Shivani Gupta told me, she said, you can open these capsules up, put it in your protein shake, put it in your smoothie, put it on over your salads, put it in your soups, right? Put it in your vegetables, your turmeric. If you don't like to swallow pills, then open it up or use fresh turmeric. I think the Indians, the country of India, the Indians have less occurrence of Alzheimer's disease because they use more turmeric than any other country out there. Sleep. Do you know that sleep apnea is linked to Alzheimer's disease? Get your sleep study. If you snore, you have a 90% chance of having Alzheimer's disease. Sleep apnea, not Alzheimer's disease. Scratch that. Get a sleep study if you snore. You have to exercise. Minimum 30 minutes daily. Minimum. Walk like you're late to every single appointment, okay? Reduce your stress in your life. Automate, eliminate, and delegate. Stress will kill you, people. It will kill you. Stop smoking. Stop smoking now. There's not one condition that has helped with smoking. Not one. Regular use of infrared saunas, right? Get in your relaxed sauna that we have, or any sauna. I don't care, just sweat. Saunas have been shown to decrease the risk of Alzheimer's if you use it 2 to 7 times weekly. Learn a new language. Learn to play an instrument. Go back to school. Take classes. Play board games. Sudoku. I've never played Sudoku or Sudoku. Learn how to play pickleball. All the things. Ballroom dancing. It's key. Surround yourself with community. It's key. These are all things that are going to help you. You can take every supplement out there, but if you don't eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, de-stress well, commune well, man, it just doesn't work. It does not work. You can't out supplement a horrible diet or a stressful life or a bad situation. You've got to change it. Alzheimer's disease is the only one of the 10 of the United States, 10 most common causes of death for which there is no effective treatment. It's the only disease to which we have no effective treatment. Prevention is key. We can fight this. You do not want to go through what my mom went through. I promise you. We have nothing to prevent it, nor to slow it down effectively. That is evident by the statistics I shared earlier. Alzheimer's disease robs not only the victim, but the entire social circle and the family of the life that they were designed to live. It robs the entire sphere of the life that they were designed to live. Prevention is key. Treatments may improve function, but they do not appear to slow down the progression of the disease. Genetics is the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger. Always know that. Genetics is the gun, but the environment pulls the trigger. I'm going to put this up here. But the environment pulls the trigger. Okay? Don't ever forget that. All right? All right, I'm going to answer your questions right here. What's this say? What don't you miss? Oh, I wrote that. What don't you miss about the dead person? Yeah, think about that. There's lots of things I don't miss. And this person says, I do not miss my mother's negative comments about me. That's right. Neither do I. Neither do I. Neither do I, sis. Anne says, I loved my mom, but all my life she tried to make me feel guilty about everything. I didn't miss that at all. Isn't it interesting when you think about these things? Because we're always supposed to think about what we do miss about them, right? This is hard work. And this is real work. Really admitting, man, I don't miss that. I don't miss that at all. I don't miss being told you're a jerk. I don't miss being told you're stupid or this, that, and another. I mean, it's fascinating to me. This woman says, or it may be a man, why do you think your mom was insulting to you? Like, what was her trigger? Oh, there was no trigger. She just didn't like me because that's horrible. And I'm sorry you had to endure that. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. She wasn't triggered. It was simply my mother from day one. I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot of jealousy. I don't know. I honestly do not know. And Kay has a hard time saying the word dead or died. And I totally understand that. And Terry, I agree. I don't miss the rejection. Rejected every way I turn. And let me tell you something. I am so grateful that you're starting grief counseling on December the 5th. Give it all up. Now, I don't know if you need this book, but if you do, if you weren't here when I talked about it, order this book, Liberating Losses. So far, it's unbelievable. And Candy says, dead does sound final. Maybe people are uncomfortable that there will be no resolving of issues. Amen. Or it sounds so final and that it's painful. Yeah, I think that's correct, and there is no resolving. And so that's what you grieve, right? That's part of this grieving process, grieving what you never had and what will never be. It's fascinating, the stuff I've learned about myself as well. My mother had Alzheimer's for 15 years and passed away 33 years ago. At that time, they did not understand it or know how to treat it. When my mother first had issues, they thought she was depressed and they gave her shock treatments. Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, clearly that didn't help. I'm sorry about that. Has so many problems. It's hard to focus on just one. Hey, Ruth, I hear you, girl. I hear you. I totally get it. Do you need to take vitamin C with the iron? Good question. Yes, you do. There's vitamin C in that focus patch. And that's why I didn't have my mom on it, because I knew my mom would only do so much. But iron and vitamin C work synergistically together. And this is just this one. And we have one here that has C in it. It's just a straight bisglycinate iron. That's what I had my mom. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. My mom on just 29 milligrams of iron. But yes, good question, Kay. Iron and vitamin C work synergistically together. So now she also had a little orange juice every morning with breakfast, and she'd take her iron in the morning. So, who knows? I don't know. I did the best I could. Do you have an affiliate program to spread your supplements to everyone? No, but I have an online store, my friend. I do have an online store, and I shared the link here, and I'll share it again for you. We have an online store, and we have a brand new one that's rolling out. Here within the next month, and you guys are going to love it. It's going to have a place for y'all to be able to put reviews on things you like. It's going to have my courses on it. It's just got videos. It's got everything on it. So the link is here. You can scroll back and I'll share it again for you. Carol, thank you for that. And thank you for thinking about shopping local and supporting local. How do I spell what? Oh, shoot. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what. I'll share all the supplements up there. Maybe it's Gko Boba or Eleutherococcus. That may have been. I don't know. Yes, Heather, I'm going to list the supplements. I tried. I typed it all out beforehand, and I was going to copy and paste it in the comment section, and it won't let me. So it will not let me do it. So when it's over, I will retype everything for you. Okay. We have early onset Alzheimer's that have now taken 3 generations of women in my mother's maternal line. My mother just passed on the 30th. Oh, Tanya, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, her funeral was yesterday. I have my first appointment at the Vanderbilt Cognitive Center next month to get more information about testing and research options for myself. Tanya, I'm so sorry about your mom. And I know that coming right off the funeral, how overwhelming this is. Keep us posted. Let us know on this page or my private Facebook group, Inside Out Healing from Within, how that goes and what you think about the Vanderbilt Cognitive Center. I don't know. I would love to go there. I know I don't have the genetics for Alzheimer's disease, but again, neither did my mother. So keep us posted on that, Tanya. That's fascinating. I'm glad that you're being proactive. Very few people are proactive when it comes to the word Alzheimer's or dementia. We're scared of it. Yeah, Kay, I agree. I am sorry. I'm sorry. It's hard stuff. Whew. Heather, will these help with cognitive issues, depression, anxiety, insomnia due to having long COVID? A lot of that will, yes, but I do have a long COVID protocol that's on our online store. If you search in post-COVID protocol, that's it. And actually Vanderbilt has one of the doctors at Vanderbilt has adopted my post-COVID protocol for his long hauler patients. I know how complicated that is. Have an employee who had long haulers, and she said that our protocol, which I came up with when I had COVID, that our protocol was the only thing that pulled her out of her fatigue and depression. And what I did was I put together a protocol. It's not how smart I was. I was just desperate on it. I was so fatigued. What would people do? What would integrative healthcare providers like me do for patients who had chronic fatigue syndrome? And the bottom line is you want to build mitochondria, right? You want to build mitochondria and build energy. And things like L-carnitine, D-ribose, CoQ10, PQQ, pro-resolving mediators. It works. So check it on our online store. I love organic turmeric, black pepper, cayenne pepper, and my cardamom. Yes, I love cardamom, Nancy, sprinkled on food. My mom has arthritis in both knees and says she's noticed less inflammation. Spices are great to help with health. Stress management can help lower. Oh, I love your Chillax Max and your pro-resolving mediators. Yes, ma'am. These PRMs are the best right here. But yeah, turmeric. If you're not going to grate up turmeric, then buy turmeric and you can open it and sprinkle it if you don't want to swallow the pills and stuff. But spices are the way to go. And absolutely, organic walnuts are great brain food. Walnuts are literally shaped. This is terrible. They're shaped like the 2 lobes of the brain. And they're shaped like the brain for a reason. They help the brain. Good call. You guys are so smart. I've seen somewhere you wrote about phosphatidylserine. Can you speak more on what research insights on that supplement? Phosphatidylserine we use for early to mild memory loss. And it helps patients with early to mild memory loss. It's fascinating. It's also in I can't reach it. I don't have it right here. It's in our cortisol manager, phosphatidylserine, magnolia, a little bit of ashwagandha. So phosphatidylserine is excellent. It's not very expensive, but it's expensive. And and it's fantastic for early to mild memory loss. All right. Let's see here. Love the online store. I'm in Kentucky. Yes, you are, Nancy. Absolutely, Kay. Our fish is only from cold water, deep cold water fish. The pro-resolving mediators, the wild-caught omega, the one we also have here for high cholesterol, the Nordic LDL. This wild-caught omega, which sounds really weird, is pre-digested, which means it's already been broken down, so you're not going to burp it and you're going to absorb it really well. So this is different than the pro-resolving mediators, but this is 1.3 grams of omega-3s and omega-6s, EPA and DHA in one capsule. So it's the wild-caught omega, and it is wild-caught and cold water. Oh, Lisa, I don't take any insurance at all. I am a direct pay practice, but of course the labs are filed through insurance. So I am a direct pay practice, which means I'm cash pay. And I know. I'll look at your store. I'm desperate. Well, we can help you. And we also have a live chat. Now, we don't answer it, of course, at night. And, we don't, because we're real people. So we're answering it. There's 3 of us that answer the messages. So we have a live chat if you have questions. Always ask. And we also have a subscribe and save. This is not about selling supplements tonight, but we have a subscribe and save, which also will save you money. And we're open here in my supplement store 6 days a week. What do you recommend for dizziness dealing with Meniere's disease? Oh, goodness. Since age 8. Well, I'm going to tell you, I would find a functional neurologist. Cheryl, I don't know if you are. Oh, Cheryl. Oh, now 62. No, that's not. I've graduated with a Cheryl York. A functional neurologist. And here in town, it's Dr. Justin Deering. So functional neurologist. Dr. Justin Deering is here. And I would have a functional neurologist look at it. Also, of course, you got to cut out gluten, dairy, sugar. That's a hard one. We could do a whole show on Meniere's disease. Fish oil, turmeric, things that are going to bring down the inflammatory response. And I don't know. I wonder if there's a CBD, any research on CBD and Meniere's disease. I do telemedicine, Kay, but I don't, not with the first visit or the second visit. I need to see you in person. I'm still old school like that. I need to see you. I need to examine you, things like that. The chronic fatigue supplements that you recommend. Lisa, if you'll click the link to the supplement store and search long COVID or post-COVID protocol, it's there. L-carnitine, D-ribose, PQQ, CoQ10, and pro-resolving mediators, PRMs. And I'll answer these questions on Facebook for you as well. But click the link for the store and you'll see it. And you'll see the explanation on each of them. My husband has dementia and nature walks. Yes, forest bathing has been awesome. Yes, Terry has passed cognitive exams for the past 2 years. He had the chronic microvascular ischemic dementia for 8 years. Wow. Forest bathing is one of my favorite things. In fact, one of my dear friends, Dina Garrett, here in town, is a forest bathing instructor, teacher. She takes you on forest bathing. If you don't know what forest bathing is, look it up. All right. Okay, guys, we got to get off here. It's almost been an hour. I will put the link again for the store, for the online store. You all can look. I'm having them. If she doesn't get it up tonight, she will get it up tomorrow morning. All the supplements that I talked about on the first page, so you don't have to search for them. Then the post-COVID, the long COVID stuff, just search in the search bar. If you have a question, ask a question. We will help you. Next week, guess what? Guess who's going to be here? Dr. Amy Apigian. I'm going to put her link up here. She is the biology of trauma. Her website is Trauma Healing Accelerated. She's a good, dear friend of mine. I've known her now for probably 5 years. Whew. She is unbelievable. She will be here next week to talk about the biology of trauma. And she'll be talking about childhood trauma, about, parents, all the things and the programs that she does. She has an unbelievable 100,000 member community on trauma, the biology of trauma. Remember, the body keeps score. The body keeps score. So next week, it'll be Dr. Amy Apigian talking about the biology of trauma and trauma healing accelerated. She's brilliant. She stayed at my house multiple times. She lives in Mexico and San Diego. And again, she's been a dear friend of mine for years. And I cannot wait for you to meet Dr. Amy Apigian live next Sunday night. My 2-year anniversary of Wild and Well was this week, right here, November the 9th. This book came out 2 years ago, November the 9th, right here. We had a gigantic book release party. This is what I need from you. I need to run this book back up the sales on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all that. If you have a gift to give for Christmas, how about give them a book? If you want to. And if you live local, bring it in. I'll sign it for you. But if you ordered this book online, I need you to review it. That's all I'm asking. Please review it. Give me an honest review. I don't even have 300 reviews. I need 3,000 reviews for that book to move up. And it keeps moving up. It keeps doing fantastic. But I need you all to do that, please. It is a wonderful book on health and healing. It is evergreen. It will be around forever. All right. Guess who's going to be here Black Friday weekend? I am so excited. So Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and Giving Tuesday. I'm here in this store, right? I took off work on Monday for Cyber Monday. Monday evening, 5 to 7 p.m. So I'm going to put this on. This is Cyber Monday here in the store. You're not going to believe who's coming in from Texas. Cyber Monday, 5 to 7 p.m. Dr. Anna Quebeca will be in the store. And we will be talking about all of her products: Mighty Maca, Julva, the vaginal rejuvenation, the balance cream, progesterone and pregnenolone for perimenopause and menopause, the hair mask that she does, all the great things. She's going to be here in the store, and I want you here. That is Cyber Monday. That's the biggest day of the year for us. I cannot believe we have an event going on that day in here, but we're doing it because she's in town for some work that for 2 days, and we're going to have her in, and we're going to be testing. We're going to be drinking Mighty Maca. We're going to be drinking clean crafted wine. We're going to be doing all the things. So that's Cyber Monday. You guys, we have a huge deal planned for you all. Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and Giving Tuesday. I am still deciding my Giving Tuesday, what I'm doing. Exactly what I'm going to benefit. I'm going to try to partner up with Bunny and Jelly and see if we can raise money and raise funds and things for children here in Middle Tennessee. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. All right, guys, when death brings relief, it's a hard subject. It's a hard topic, right? Death, dead, died. Those are hard words. They're tough. They're real tough, but we're tougher. We are tougher, and we got to do the hard work. I told somebody today, I said, you got to do the hard work to get through this. I was talking about heartbreak. She had a broken heart. I said, you got to do the hard work to get through this because, you're not going to die from this. She's not going to die from a broken heart. I do believe people can die from a broken heart, but she's not. And this is hard work. This is hard work. It's hard to know what to do and what the right thing is, but we're doing it. So that's my Alzheimer's protocol for my mom. That's the Alzheimer's protocol. If y'all have any questions, let me know. We'll see you next week here with Dr. Amy Apigian discussing the biology of trauma and what we do, how we get our tissues and our muscles and our body to release the trauma that happened to us, either as a little child or as an adult or whatever. But the body keeps score. We also can release it. And Dr. Apigian is going to help us with that next week. All right, guys. Godspeed. Love you so much. Stay wild. Click the link. I'll post the things on Facebook. We'll see you. And I want you to know something. You're not broken. No matter what your parents said to you, no matter what an abusive spouse said to you, or a friend or a sibling or whatever, you're not broken. You are perfectly imperfect. And that's every single one of us. There was only one perfect human out there, and it's not you and it's not me. So I just want you to know you are perfectly imperfect, exactly the way you're supposed to be right now. Don't forget it.